I'm Lineke Lijn, and in this tutorial we are going to draw a peacock. And it may look very difficult to drawing all those feathers. You can see them here behind me, but I've got a trick for you that it makes it easy for you to get that pack of feathers all nice and easy on the paper. So let's start. Here you see a picture of a peacock that I've already printed out. And what is obvious here is the back and all the feathers that come out of the back feathers. And they kind of go out like the beams of the sun. All coming out of the body. Here we see how the feathers are built up. And you can see how those peacock eyes on the top of the main feathers are repeating itself in the tail of the peacock. Here you see a study that I've already drawn, and I was figuring out how the body stands out in comparison to the tail feathers. For this study, we will be focusing on the head, the back feathers and the tail feathers. I have a special trick invented for drawing off all those feathers, and you can see in this tutorial how it's done. This is what we are going to need, and we will start out with a soft pencil. In this case, I'm using a 7B. The 6B is also okay, but I could not find it at the moment. I think the cat is running away with it or something. And we start out with the head. As you can see, as the head is, the lines are going down to the body, it broadens a little bit. The beak is stretched onto the head itself, and the top line is not all straight but a little bit dented. The eye of the peacock is a bit high up on the head. I also place in the pupil already. Here you can see the well, the head is split in two, and on top of the head there are the crown feathers. Around the eye there are two white markings, and I already placed those in, so I know that I can shade around it, and the white will be left out. The feathers on the top of the head are a bit more rough. I'm going to make the neck a little bit broader, and then I go down to the rest of the body. Once you have those lines, you can place in the back feathers. The back feathers are all packed together. It's kind of like a cone, and then you simply place little bowed lines. Those bows get broader and bigger as they go on top of the back. Once you have that standing there, you can place in the main lines for the tail feathers. As you can see, they stretch out like the beams of the sun. I draw these very quickly, and this is the line where it's about to stop. Here the wing is attached to the body. On top of the crown feathers there are very dark black feathers. Now that I have this all standing in, the main lines for my peacock, I can start shading in the feathers. Now the feathers of the body are bright shiny blue. Because this is a first study, I have decided to make this just in pencil, so not in colored pencil yet. If you want to start to study any animal or maybe people, it doesn't matter. It is always wise to start out with just pencil. That way you can easily get the feel of how the feathers are going or how the shadows are going. And so I never start out directly with colored pencils. I first have to get the feel of where the dark and the bright places are. Here I'm getting in more and more detail. Also for the nostril, I place that in, and a dark line for the beak itself. For the feathers on the back, there are also all kinds of dark eyes in them. So in every bow, I place in that dark eye. Then I start on the tail feathers. I simply place egg-like circles. So they're not completely round, but just roughly like an egg. On the end of the tail feathers, they pack together. I randomly place them and divide them so that there's kind of a rhythm. And once you have all the eggs, I call them eggs for now, once you have all the circles in there, you place in every circle a dark eye. You can see I do this very roughly because I also will be rubbing and placing in graphite powder. Here is my graphite powder. I simply make this by scraping it off a graphite bar with a sharp knife. That way a powder comes, when you rub it with the knife, the powder instantly comes off the graphite bar. I simply collect the graphite powder in a little box. It's a very quick way to get a shade going on. Once you have this, I want to make sure that the graphite really attaches to the paper. Then you take an eraser pencil or an eraser that you have cut off, so you can draw in sharp lines around the main feathers of the tails. This way you light up the feathers that will be, now it will look like they lay on top of the feather. This is all very repeatable work. The same goes now for the filling pencil. With the filling pencil, I start rendering to the left and to the right. So I kind of cross hatch here to make it appear like they are the side feathers that are on the main tail feathers. For some of the main feathers, I also place in a little bit of the pointy hairs that are on top of the main feathers. I've speeded up the time here a lot because this is all repetition. Just cross hatch in all the way round the back feather. It's very simple, but it really gives the effect of the way that the feathers behave as they are all stretched out from the back, and they come out and they stand up, and they give that cross hatching effect, gives it that feel of a pack of feathers. Now that I have the most of the tail standing in, I head on for the details on the head. As the head is the closest to us, I want to make sure that it pops out very dark, so it really pops in front of us, and the tail is just moving away and is on the background. I carefully darken in around the white markings that are around the eyes, and then I head down to the neck and to the rest of the body. The feathers on the head, the neck and the body are really tiny and really packed together. So here I'm just hatching, but I'm not putting in all gray, but I spare out a little bit of light so that it looks like it's a feather pack, and that there's a little bit of shine on the feathers. Here some extra darkness between the feathers, not everywhere, but just at some points I put in a little more detail to make the feather pop out a little bit. Here for the back feathers you can also put in a little more detail to give it one side a little bit more shadow. And here where it packs together and stands out from the rest of the body, just a little bit of extra shadow. Now I'm picking up my eraser pencil again and I draw in white main lines. Then I use that same eraser pencil for cross hatching around the tail feathers. So I simply oh, what are you doing here? What is this? Oh no. This is what happens, people, when I'm drawing and I just want to draw and the cat starts getting hungry. Go away. Go away. This is awful, people. Sorry, I just have to feed the cat a little bit. He is not going away until I've fed him. So, excuse me for this, people. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was cross-hatching with the eraser pencil. Then you can always take your filling pencil again or extra sharpened pencil for more detail. You can put in as much detail as you want, of course, but I want to make sure that I put in more detail on the head than I do on the tail feathers, because the tail feathers are very soft and smooth and in the background. So I simply decide to take as much as detail as possible on front and as little as possible for the back and the tail feathers. If you enjoy this, you can always decide to also make the same drawing and then start putting color in. Maybe a little bit of color in the first time, and then well, you can work that out and bring in more and more colors. But this is just a setup and a way of looking at tail feathers. They look very hard, but once you know this trick, I'm sure you will manage to get a marvelous drawing. I wish you all the luck with it, and I hope to see you again in one of my other tutorials. Take care.